Chapter 14. Lord Kalki conquers the Buddhists who opposed him. Sutta Goswami said, just as a lion, the king of the jungle, attacks a female elephant, Lord Kalki, the life and soul of all living entities, attacked the army of the Buddhists. A fierce battle took place between the Buddhists and Lord Kalki. When the Buddhists became disheartened and began fleeing from the battle, Lord Kalki, acting as the commander-in-chief of his army, addressed the opposing warriors who were injured in the battle, whose garments and armor were scattered here and there, whose hair had become loosened, and who were screaming loudly in pain. Lord Kalki said, O Buddhists, do not run away from the battlefield. Stay here and fight to the best of your ability so that you will avoid the shame of being considered cowards. Although Jinnah had been injured, he became enraged upon hearing Lord Kalki's taunting words. After picking up his sword and shield, he rushed at Lord Kalki, who was sitting on his horse. In the duel that ensued, both fought with great enthusiasm, so that even the demigods, who were watching from the heavens, became surprised to witness Jinnah's skill in fighting. The greatly powerful Jinnah pierced Kalki's horse with his trident, and then made the Lord fall unconscious with his onslaught of arrows. At this, the wicked Jinnah attempted to capture Lord Kalki, but was unable to pick him up. Lord Kalki had become so heavy that Jinnah could not even move him, and this fueled Jinnah's rage. Being unable to take Lord Kalki as prisoner, Jinnah finally took his crown and weapons and fled. Meanwhile, King Vishakayupa, who had accompanied Lord Kalki, became furious upon seeing this, and so he went and struck Jinnah with his club. After accomplishing this feat, the king carefully picked up the Lord and placed him on his chariot. Soon, Lord Kalki regained consciousness and began to rally his soldiers. The Lord then jumped from Vishakayupa's chariot and charged at Jinnah. Although Lord Kalki's wonderful horse had been injured by Jinnah's trident, he soon regained his composure and began roaming all over the battlefield, jumping fiercely while angrily attacking hundreds and thousands of Buddhist soldiers. In this way, Lord Kalki's horse killed many sinful men. Indeed, the heavy breathing of Lord Kalki's horse caused many opposing soldiers to fly into the sky and then fall down at distant places. Some of them fell upon the horses and chariots as they descended onto the battlefield. Within a short time, Gargya and his associates killed 6,000 Buddhist warriors. Bargya killed 10 million enemy soldiers with the help of his army, and Visala killed 25,000. Kavi and his 2 sons fought valiantly, killing 20,000 enemy soldiers. 1 million soldiers were killed at the hands of Brajna, and 500,000 were eliminated by Sumanta. Lord Kalki then addressed Jinnah. O sinful one, do not run away. Come before me and fight. Know me to be the personification of destiny, which awards everyone the results of their pious and sinful acts. Very soon, your body will be pierced by my arrows, so that you will be forced to leave this world forever, without any companion. Thus, you have very little time left to show your face to your relatives. After hearing the speech of Lord Kalki, Jinnah laughed sarcastically, and then replied, Fate cannot be seen. I believe in direct perception, because I follow the philosophy of Buddhism. We do not believe anything unless we can perceive it. We believe that destiny can be changed, because this is the verdict of our scriptures. If you are actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead as you claim, then kill us. What can be gained by merely uttering your boasting words? We Buddhists will never accept you. Whatever you have claimed to be my destiny will actually be your destiny. Just remain before me and see. After saying this, Jinnah covered the entire body of Lord Kalki with his sharp arrows. As a fog is dissipated by the rising of the sun, Jinnah's shower of arrows vanished by the influence of Lord Kalki's potency. Simply by Lord Kalki's presence, all of the enemy's weapons, including the Brahmastra, Agnyastra, Vyastra, and Prajnastra, were rendered ineffective, just like seeds sown in the desert, donations given to unworthy persons, or devotional service to Lord Hari executed out of jealousy. In an instant, Lord Kalki jumped into the air and caught hold of Jinnah's hair as he sat upon his bull carrier. Both Lord Kalki and Jinnah fell to the ground and began to wrestle. Jinnah then grabbed Lord Kalki by his hair with one hand and warded off his blows with the other. Appearing just like Chanura and Lord Krishna, the two stood up and continued wrestling, grabbing each other's hair and arms. The two great heroes had no weapons in their hands as they fought each other like two powerful bears. As a maddened elephant breaks a palm tree, the most expert of all fighters, Lord Kalki, broke Jinnah's spine with a powerful kick so that the king of the Buddhists fell dead onto the ground. When the Buddhist soldiers saw their leader lying dead upon the ground, they began to wail in agony. O Brahmanas, the killing of Jinnah immersed the soldiers of Lord Kalki into an ocean of great happiness. After witnessing the death of his brother, the greatly powerful Sudodhana picked up his club and charged at Lord Kalki, bent upon destroying him. In response, Lord Kalki released an incessant shower of arrows at Sudodhana while roaring like a lion. When the pious hero, Kavi, saw Sudodhana coming with a club in his hand, he got down from his elephant and obstructed his path while wielding his own club. A fierce battle then ensued between Kavi and Sudodhana. As an elephant fights with another inimical elephant with its tusks, the great hero Kavi, who was very expert in fighting with the club, confronted Sudodhana. Because they were intoxicated by fighting, they roared loudly while challenging each other with harsh words. They both tried their best to defend themselves from their opponent's blows. Finally, while roaring like a lion, Kavi struck Sudodhana with his club so forcefully that Sudodhana's club fell from his hands. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Kavi landed a very powerful blow to the chest of his enemy. Although the powerful Sudodhana fell to the ground, he quickly regained his composure and stood up after picking up his club. By maneuvering very quickly, he was able to smash his club upon Kavi's head. The blow was so forceful that although Kavi did not fall to the ground, he was dazed and thus stood motionless. Still, Sudodhana understood that Kavi was not an ordinary warrior, but was immensely powerful and surrounded by thousands of chariots. Therefore, he decided to leave the battlefield and bring Maya Devi. His reason for summoning the great Maya Devi was that as soon as any demigod, demon, or human being within the three worlds would see her, he would immediately become stunned like a statue. After regrouping, Sudodhana and his millions of Mlecha soldiers entered the battlefield, keeping Maya Devi in front. Maya Devi, who sat on a chariot whose flag was marked with the symbol of a lion, manifested various kinds of weapons. Crows and vultures surrounded her screaming in shrill voices. The 6 enemies, headed by lust, engaged in her personal service. Being confronted by this incredibly powerful Maya Devi, who can assume any form at will, and who is constituted by 3 modes of material nature, the army of Lord Kalki gradually weakened. Indeed, all the great warriors in Lord Kalki's army, who were well equipped with the celestial weapons, lost their prowess so that they simply stood motionless like statues. Lord Kalki saw that his brother and the other warriors had become afflicted by his inferior energy, Maya, and so he quickly approached her. Suddenly, much to everyone's astonishment, beautiful Maya Devi, who is an expansion of Lakshmi, merged into the body of Lord Kalki like a beautiful consort. Because of Maya Devi's sudden disappearance, the hearts of the Buddhist leaders became filled with anxiety. They lost all their strength and began to cry like lost children. They cried out, "Alas, where did our mother go?" Meanwhile, simply by Lord Kalki's compassionate glance, all of his warriors regained their composure so that they easily slaughtered the Mlechas with their sharp swords. Lord Kalki then mounted his horse after putting on armor. He equipped himself with a sharp sword, a shining bow, and a quiver full of arrows. In this scene, Lord Kalki appeared most beautiful. Golden dots on the Lord's forehead appeared like twinkling stars in the cloudy sky. His diamond crown enhanced his beauty even further. Desiring to annihilate the enemy warriors, Lord Kalki glared at them in a very angry mood. The hearts of the devotees became joyful while gazing at the Lord's lotus-like face in this angry pastime. However, the Buddhists, who always blasphemed religious principles, became extremely frightened while looking at Lord Kalki, who is the reservoir of all pleasure. The hearts of the demigods became jubilant as they understood that they would once again receive their shares of sacrificial offerings. Lord Kalki, who incarnates for the pleasure of his devotees, removes the distress of the pious, is the maintainer of all living entities, and appears in this world to fulfill the desires of all saintly persons, was determined to eliminate his enemies by utilizing the prowess of his vast army. Thus ends the translation of the 14th chapter of Shri Kalki Puran. Shri Radha.